Welcome, 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 brothers and sisters. This is your girl, Smartsistah, coming at you for the Smartsistah Show. And today I'm going to speak upon Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, we know the orange orangutan just left Tulsa, and obviously he doesn't have any clue about the history of what happened in that town. So that's how I know some of his staff or the Klan are trying to make points, because he's going to have another speech taking place in Jacksonville where another massacre and a race riot occurred. So, somebody is on a subliminal level doing their thing to reinforce white supremacy, as they always do. However, we hip to it. We know what's going on. So, miss me with that. Basically, what I wanted to say about Tulsa, Oklahoma, which we all know was the Black Wall Street. All the media, everybody is talking about it. And, since we're in this woke stage, all the white folks anyway, here we go. However, the main thing they do not tell you about Tulsa is it is the first, and to my knowledge only, city to be bombed from the air. Now, see, media is not going to tell you that part. Okay, we can talk all about, what happened. And I actually, when I was a newspaper reporter, went and looked at the Tulsa papers back in 1921. So I went and looked at the actual accounts that people made. And basically what was said is a brother got on the elevator and accidentally bumped into or stepped on the foot of a white woman that was operating the elevator, because black bathrooms were on at the top floor of the building that only blacks could use. So that's basically how that started. And then, as y'all know, here comes the posse. She was raped. And so the white men came to the jail where he had been arrested to get him, but brothers headed them off at the pass and took the brother back to the Black Wall Street, to the black side of town. And then hence the fight began. Now, they tell you 300 black people were killed in the massacre, and I forgot 20, 30 something white people, but basically it was the other way around. Black people was kicking the white folks' asses, kicking it, because they had their own stuff. They were protecting their own stuff. They were doing what they had to do. So obviously, since they were getting beat, they called on somebody, the government. I don't know who would have had planes other than the government, because flights were just getting started back then. So airplanes were very new. So it's not like Bubba had a plane in his damn backyard they could use. Okay, and I looked it up. The president at the time was Warren G. Harding, which, if some of y'all have done some research before, has been claimed that he was black. Obama wasn't the first black president, okay? There was a book written by J.A. Rogers years ago, back in the 60s, I believe, where he accounted for 5 different presidents that had black blood in them. And I believe that. I really do, especially since we have the one-drop rule. And supposedly Harding lived in a black part of town and even was educated in some black schools. Now, they say they've done DNA tests on some of his cousins, and there's no sub-Saharan DNA, but who's to say if you don't have his DNA, so you don't know. And I believe it. I truly do. And basically, especially if he lived in that side of town, I think they tried to explain that away, that he lived there because they had just moved to that area when he was growing up, and blah, 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 blah. Give me a break. And they always used it. The stigma of him being black stuck a long time because politically they tried to use it against him. But however, he did become president, but he was only president for 2 years because he got sick and died in office. Now that lets you know, we already know J. Edgar Hoover was black with his dress, little red dress wearing ass. Okay, and he hated black people and did all of what he did to black people. See, some folks, you know, they're and though Harding, they say, tried to pass some anti-lynching laws, and he tried to speak up for black people, but of course, just like now, the House passed it, but the Senate didn't, so there ain't nothing new changed about that. However, I'm sure he had to be the person that authorized this city to be bombed. And what it is, it wasn't like bombs like in the war. What they did was drop little balls, incendiary type balls that would make a fire start. So that's what they did. They dropped the balls all on top of the businesses in the little downtown Wall Street and started them to burn to the ground. That's how that started. Because like I said, the black people were winning and were kicking those white people's asses, so they had to do something. And then a lot of the white people had wanted that land and wanted to be there in the first place. So they made sure they leveled it. So it's estimated 10,000 black people lost their homes, businesses, etc. A lot of them sent their families away while the fighting was going on to try to save them. However, blacks still were killed, so when they came back, they had nothing. And the government didn't give them nothing. Ain't nothing happened. See, we always get screwed totally and there are no reparations for us. If Southern plantation owners got reparations, you know, for what they did, and we can't even have the damn conversation right now because of the bullshit. So that's why I'm just saying how we've got to get ourselves together financially and get the hell away from these people. And I don't know if you all had checked out a picture I posted recently. It showed a brother with cement blocks on his back where they tied him in the front and then pulled his legs up behind him and tied him, so he was like in a semicircle, and then they put all his concrete blocks on his back, so you know it broke it. Another example of some of the evil, devious torture that they put us through. And the reason I bring this up, you know, some people's like, well, you shouldn't talk about that. That was the past. And what are we doing? It's making people angry. You should be angry. Now, I'm bringing it up to let you know that we have been at war with these people forever. Back then, we did everything, Republicans, that you would say we were self-sufficient. We had pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps. We had everything we wanted, and then white folks still wasn't satisfied. They still hated that we didn't need them for anything, and they took the opportunity to destroy an entire city because they were getting their ass kicked. Okay? So that's the devil that you're dealing with today. White supremacy doesn't stop. It's still doing what it has always done. And I am not saying that we can't win, because we can win our freedom. We can win our ability to govern and take care of ourselves. Like I said, defy the lie. They have put it in our heads so long that we need them, and that, you know, we can't live without them, and we can't do anything without them. That's a lie. So we have got to defy the lie. That's going to be my slogan for a while. But by the same token, you should know everything they've done to us. Half of y'all know more about the Holocaust and what happened to Jews in a 10-year span than what happened to us over 400 years. They say 100 million of us died, perished just getting over here. in the ocean, in the water, being packed like sardines, and people dying and throwing them overboard. So that's just 100 million right there over all those hundreds of years. Because see, you got to remember, it's centuries we talking about. Okay, then once we got here, all of this torture, all of the stuff that they did, and killing and lynching and everything else, how many more people? Even with Tulsa, they said that they built big open graves and just threw the bodies in there. So that lets you know this is more than 300 people died during there. I'm sure it is. Some say it was up to 3,000. And it was only 10,000 people in the city. So if you want to talk about bodies being piled up in an open grave, just like what happened in the Holocaust, and I'm not anti-Semitic, because you need to ask yourself what a Semite is. But anyway, that's another conversation. I'm not saying an atrocity in the Holocaust, but we've had a Holocaust. And too often we've been taught to not even think about it. Like, you don't have a Holocaust like we got a Holocaust. We had a Holocaust. No, you had a hard, tough ride, but, you know, that was a 10 years period. How about 400 years? And it's still happening. Look at all these people getting lynched in a tree right now. That is nothing but white supremacy trying to tell you that all these protests and all the shit you think you're doing, hell no. It's not working. And we got to let you know this is what we do to you. So it's time for us we got to get out there and find out who did this shit. See, it's time. We have no luxury of sitting back waiting on somebody else to do something. That's what too many of us are doing. You need to get out there and figure it out and find out for yourself and make people accountable. Excuse me. That is the problem. There's no accountability for killing us, no matter how we die. From the police, lynchings, dying inside the jail. There's been another sister died inside a jail, just like my soror Sandra Bland. See, it's just consistent. And I'm sorry, people. We don't have the luxury to not think about it and no. We've got to do something. And if all of us are dedicated to this, if all of us do what we got to do, each one of us can take a piece and deal with it to make it easier on all of us. And in the meantime, still be organizing to take our money away from them and back in our own community, okay, as well as thinking in a nation building mindset. Because when you do that, then you already know what you got to do. You already know how we can build and make Tulsa again, a new Tulsa. And as I said, I'm going to research some different companies or different organizations or whatever that are working towards that. I have a friend that started a new Tulsa project. They want to buy land in the Virgin Islands and go down there and build a whole new city. Why not? See, you got to expand your mind that this is not it. It's a whole lot of other places we can go. And the Virgin Islands is perfect too because it's a United States possession. So you're not that far away from the mainland if you're too scared to go somewhere. Okay, I personally want to leave the country and live somewhere else. And I plan to do that. However, there are different ways we can have a nation of our own in every major city if that's the way we want to do it. We could move where we want to move. We could get ourselves together. And people say, well, no. You can't live in one neighborhood. They could come and kill you. And blah, blah, blah. Well, we segregated already. Really? in any major city, which was the King Albert plan that I read about years ago, in every major city, if you notice where the black neighborhoods are, if you're near a body of water, you're pushed to that. So they always thought they could push you in the ocean if anything got tough. You got to go. Chicago, New York, LA, all of them. Okay, so you already segregated. And what you got to do is let somebody know that you're going to protect your own, just like everybody else. How come every city can have a Chinatown, Koreatown, whatever? They build the structures like they do in their own land. Why not? Why can't we have our own area and have some red, black, and green and put us some Egyptian stuff in there or whatever we want to do? Open your mind. Figure it out, because you have no choice. They are killing us like dogs in the street. So what you gonna do? I'm always ask at the end, what you gonna do? Well, the first thing we can do, like I said, is get your mind right. That's one thing, and that's what I'm going to really keep trying to work on, to show you and do the research and show you what you need to do to get your mind right. Because if we don't get a black critical thinking mindset, it does not matter what we do, we will keep relapsing and falling back in the same old massa is we sick. Now, let's just be honest about that. You got to free your mind. You got to think black. You got to be black. You got to protect your black neighborhood. Some of y'all don't even want to be called black. I saw a video today where this brother was trying to go high and all spiritual, and we're spiritual beings, and these are just vessels, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not black. White people aren't white. We're just all spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. What I want to know then, where's your spiritual thinking when you find these brothers and sisters hung up in a tree? See, I'm all understanding of spirituality. I get it, because in another video, that's what I talked about. That's what scared the hell out of the French, and they left Haiti, because them people were strong spiritually. But you know why Haiti is broke? Another friend let me know. They had to pay the French for their own freedom to keep them out. So that's why they so poor. How in the hell you gonna have to pay the person that oppressed you? That was a condition of them getting their freedom. Ain't that a bitch? So, I don't want to hear, I already know about the spiritual thing, but the spiritual thing is going to move you to do what you got to do and build your own. All this pie in the sky, spiritual, crystals, Because as my pastor, Jeremiah A. Wright Jr. taught us, the 2 candles on your altar at your church stand for the human and the divine nature of Christ. Okay, if you are a Christian and that's what you believe. And so that's what I'm going to say about the spiritual whole thing. You may be spiritual, but you are human as well. And you can't be in some la-la land meditating on a crystal and ignore the human side that is catching hell where we are right now. So I'm miss me with all of that too. I know the power of spirituality. I know the African origin of Christianity. Some of y'all do need to get off of some stuff or really understand what you believe, because some of y'all don't know what the hell you believe. But I know one thing. Within yourself, God gave you everything you need. So either you gonna do that and build another Black Wall Street, or you gonna be on one with your spiritual self and miss out and allow this nonsense to go on. Because if we were so spiritual, if we were so in tune, then what in the hell are we dealing with these white folks? Then who are they? I don't even want to hear about, oh, they're spiritual beings too. Well, if they are, what kind of spiritual being would do the shit that they have done? The evil, destructive, white supremacist nonsense that they're still doing. So what spirit is that? So you better understand what you're dealing with here, physically, and in the spiritual realm. And if you put the two together, that's when you're going to have something. But if you stuck in either one of them alone, then that's why you messed up. And that's what is going on. And that is what we've got to get past in order to make our thing, our life better. Wouldn't it be nice to just live your life in freedom and not always have to be thinking twice and thinking how you gonna say something, what you gonna wear to work that day, how you gonna respond when somebody say something stupid? You know, can I touch your hair? Shit. That's what I'm saying. Get it together, people. Think about your world and how you want to live it and what you want in this life. And use your spirituality to get it. That's when things going to change. So that's why I'm going to keep talking about changing your mind, figuring it out. And then everything we get after that will stay in place and will stay where it needs to be and will continue to build. So like I said, we got to undo and heal from the post-traumatic slave syndrome that most of us have. And that's what I'm going to keep talking about. But hell yeah, I'm going to show you pictures. I want you to know just how evil white supremacy is and what it has done to us as a people. Physically, mentally, however, spiritually. That's what we got to do in order to move forward. Or this is just going to be the same old, just like white folks try to do with their banners, and we respect Black Lives Matter. We getting rid of Aunt Jemima. Now I even saw Band-Aids now are going to come in different colors. Now we all know we grew up, the flesh Band-Aids were pink. Like all human flesh is pink, when we know the minority is pink. The rest of it is brown. So now they're making different shades of Band-Aids. Really? This shit is a cartoon. But let them do what they want to do. Go ahead on. All right, I'll get a brown. Get me a brown one. You know, Nelly need to get one, match his face. Okay? But let's get it together, people. Let's defy the lie. And thank you once again for sharing your time with me. I want to thank you all for the support you've been giving me. And keep going to my website, smartsistah.com, where you can see these videos. You can also see my podcast. What I do is take the audio from these videos and put it in a podcast. So if you just want to listen to me going off on your way to work, please go there, download the podcast, get you a laugh, and keep it pushing. Okay, I really appreciate that. We're going to build a great community here where we can really be honest and open about what we really facing and what's really going on, and not all this BS nonsense, because it's got to stop, like I said. So thank you once again, and I will see you Friday. Take care.